Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 15-minute break, the interview show where you get to learn about the people around you during your normal break. Today, we have the one who moves swift like a ninja but shines like a summer sun against a disco ball. Today, we have the one and goatly Summer Rima. How you doing today, Summer?
Good. Thank you, Matthew, for that intro. That was really sweet.
Awesome. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and get inside of the questions.
Okay.
How was going to and graduating from UNT prepared you for to be a performance strategist?
Yeah, okay. So at UNT, I got a lot of world experience. I had one course specifically where we got to shadow 3 to 4 different people in the industry and outside of the industry to make sure that we wanted to still do marketing. So I shadowed like a teacher, an account executive, a PR representative, a marketing person. And so that really helped me to decide what I wanted to do and the fact that I wanted to go into digital marketing. We also actually went and visited Reach Local when I was at UNT, and we did like a whole day at Reach Local, and they told us all about digital marketing and where the industry was going, and that it was cutting edge back then because that was in 2011, and that they needed some younger people to help them specifically with social media. So that really kind of jump started my career because I got a job. I just applied for a job right after we went and visited, and I got a job right out of college into Reach Local. So
Nice.
yeah, I think UNT really kind of paved the way for me to go into the digital marketing arena.
So did they still do the claw back then?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I went to UNT as well. Helping others is not foreign to you, correct?
Right.
So, from volunteering at the Combat Veteran Association and the Cloud9 charities, I want to talk and focus about the time you being a basketball coach.
Oh, okay, cool.
What are some memories that from there that you bring into work every day?
Well, I played basketball for a long time. I played all the way from kindergarten until really 11th grade in high school. And so I really enjoyed actually coaching. And my best friend's dad was the kind of like president of Special Olympics basketball. And so I enjoyed helping those kids, kind of coaching their teams. And it was really fun, really super rewarding to help someone that, can find the joys in the little things. And I remember one time this little boy, he had autism, and he really attached to me very quickly, which is kind of bizarre with a kid that has autism. They're not super social normally, and he wasn't very social at all. But he just fell in love with me, and so he held my hand the entire practice. The entire practice, he would drag me up and down the court, up and down the court. But it was so much fun. And then I also just coached regular league basketball. And one thing that I found with that is it was kind of fun. It was a nice release, and it was fun to help people succeed and to teach them kind of what worked for me, and then have it work for them, and to be able to see that was really rewarding. So
Let's see. So you're currently part of the Funkadelic yet disciplined team of the Disco Ninjas, right?
yes.
Okay. What are some things that you learned from the team that help your clients?
We have Aaron on our team, and he's all-knowing YP. So I've learned a lot of YP information from him specifically, and that's been extremely helpful for my clients.
I think from Aaron Betts.
Yeah, Aaron Betts, yeah. And secondary to that, I think having the younger crowd of the younger ages that we have in our team, they're very, tenacious, and a lot of them, it's their first job. So to see how much they push and how determined they are, I'm very competitive, so it makes me also, step up my game too.
So what are some principles that make up Summer, especially when it comes to being a performance strategist?
I'm always trying to do the right thing, and I'm trying to, bring my clients the best leads. And really talk to my clients and learn about their business, because if I don't know their business, there's no way I'm going to be able to manage their digital marketing campaigns. So it's really frustrating when some clients don't respond. It's like 40% of my clients have never responded to me, or 30%, whatever the percentage is. It's a bigger percentage than I would want. And so it's a monthly struggle to try to get them to respond. And it that is probably my number one goal, is engagement with my clients, because without that engagement, I can't optimize their campaign properly. I can't bring them the right types of leads, because I don't know what they need. So I would say that that's kind of like my daily goal, is to try to get a client that hasn't engaged previously to engage with me, to try to find ways to do that.
As a background of digital marketing, down from SEO down to what we do today as PPC, pay-per-click, what are some common mistakes that businesses do when joining into this digital world?
Yeah, so common mistakes that they make is not having a good website. Because, they'll spend $10,000 on digital marketing, and, at a lot of places it doesn't go to a landing page, it actually goes to their main website. And if they have a bad website, they're not going to get the return on investment that they want, because it's just not going to happen. So I think the first and foremost aspect that a small business needs to focus on is their website. That should be number one. And then secondary is the lead funnel. So once they have that website, how are they capturing leads from the website? So where is their phone number? Is it on the top of the page? Is it in a form submit? Is it clear? Is it in, bright colors or whatever? Is it clickable? Is it a clickable phone number? And then also, where are the forms going? And then when somebody calls, is it a branded voicemail? Are you providing your cell phone number, or are you telling them, hey, if I didn't catch you, you can text me at this number? Like, all of that needs to happen first before you can go into digital marketing and spend a bunch of money there. And then I think, and I've always thought this, I think the first step in digital marketing should be a search campaign. I think that should be your first step. And so you build that foundation with that search campaign, and then you build off of it, like with SEO and social media and those types of things. But I really think that your first step into the digital marketing world, other than your website and lead capturing, should be an SEM campaign, and then maybe an email campaign, like a drip campaign.
What would be like your 5-step guide for a business? So do you have like any more additional steps that you would give out to businesses?
Yeah, so I've worked internally in a business before, and then I've also worked with a very, very small agency where I pretty much only worked on 2 clients. And so I learned a lot from those different experiences. And I think the number one thing that a lot of businesses, small businesses especially, fall short on is, number one, the owners try to take on the whole thing by themselves, and they try to baby it, and but they don't have the time. So I really think that giving that responsibility to someone that has a little bit more time, that can own it, like maybe a younger kid in the company that maybe wants to do marketing in the future, or that's interested in it, like somebody that's actually interested in digital marketing, help your vendor. I think that's really key. And then I think the secondary thing is picking a good vendor. So Dex YP isn't going to be for every small business. There is a certain small type of small business that we can really help. And but for me, I saw a huge difference per vendor. So when I first got on at my last job, I actually had to fire the vendor that we were using and hire a different type of vendor that was industry specific. And so I think that really evaluating like your options in the industry is really helpful as well. And so I think that's why we need to provide that value to our customers, and we need to try to be those knowledgeable people on their industry and really learn about their industry from them and try to pick it up as quickly as possible, because that's really going to show a lot of value for them.
Being a performance strategist, you worked on different type of accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe a difficult account that you had and how you handled it?
Well, I guess with the Thrive release, you know, I have an account that spends close to $10,000 a month with us, and they were trying to launch a new Thrive website right when the 3.0 came out. And so it delayed everything, and they also had SEO money back guarantee. So it also delayed the money back guarantee section. It's a pest control company. So the time that it was delayed was their peak season. So it's really like their peak season is like April, May, June, and that's when we were having all of the issues with the Thrive 3.0 migration and all of that. So I'm sitting here, and this client spends, you know, $8,000 a month on search. And then, you know, now they're additional, they have the SEO money back guarantee. And then the BA had to talk them into getting the Thrive website. They really loved their previous website. They didn't want to change over. And now we're having all these issues with the delays that I have no control over. So that was a really, really touchy area. And I really thought we were going to lose the client. But I was able to schedule a strategy call with them. And I went over all of their search campaign, and I was very prepared. I had tons of optimizations I was recommending. I went through all of their business services and made sure that it all lined up with them, talked about what they're going to see in the future, trends, and what they're focusing on in the next coming months. And at the end of the call, he said, you know, the Thrive and the SEO has been a really big letdown for us, but it feels good to have somebody looking at my campaign all the time. And I really feel a lot more confident in DexYP because I've talked to you. So I think that strategy call, even though we didn't talk about SEO because it was still pending and they were upset about it, like refocusing our attention to something that was working actually really helped. And to mention, that was actually a YP Connect campaign that we had just migrated over to YP Search. And so sometimes those migrations don't really go well. But I had really watched it very closely. And once it had migrated over, I had made sure that everything was correct. And so I think that was a huge, huge aspect of that migration going well. So.
I want to talk about optimizations.
Mm-hmm.
Well, can you describe how you handle an optimization going from as soon as you log into your computer to the point where you mark the case as satisfied?
Yeah. Okay, so there's two different types of optimizations for me. There's I've never talked to the client before and I don't know much about their business. And then there's I've talked to the client, I've had a couple strategy sessions, I know what they want to focus on, and so I have some direction on my optimization. So for the ones that I have never engaged with, that I haven't talked to, the first thing I'll do is I'll log in and I'll look at the KPIs. So, and I'll actually notate that in my case. So I'll notate the lead pacing, the budget pacing, normally notate the average call duration, and then the click to lead. And I'll look at the click-through rate and some of those other factors, maybe even the cost per click, to see how the campaign's performing. So since I've been optimizing these campaigns over the last couple months, a lot of them are really great. They're on track. If they're a green account, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the top keywords they're performing are, you know, the types of keywords we want, and then I'm going to check their search query report. And I could normally add a couple negatives based off of the search query report, specifically competitor names, because a lot of our clients aren't going to convert those leads. So if I see a competitor name pop up, I'm normally going to negate that because these small business owners don't know how to win that lead over. So especially the receptionist that just answers the phone. So I'll normally take that step, do search query, and then I'll just make sure that everything's working. Sometimes I'll log into Google AdWords and make sure there's no, negative keyword conflicts or anything like that Google's showing, because sometimes that doesn't show in Wolfpack. And pretty much that's it for my regular green account. Now, if it's a red account, I'm going to see that through the KPIs, and I'm going to have to go in and I'm going to have to really just deep dive, and it's not the same optimization for every red account, so it just depends on what I see. But I do normally always start with the KPIs, and then the secondary thing I normally always go to is the search queries, because that's going to tell me what's going on. And then if the search queries are off, I'll listen to the phone calls and kind of go from there. But and then for the accounts that I know the advertiser and I've talked to them a couple of times and I know what their focus is, I can really use that data to see if they're actually getting search queries and calls for what they're wanting. And then I'll optimize, for their focus if they're not receiving that type of, if it's not heavily weighted towards that.
Going now into 3.0, as you described, 3.0 was released this year. What is your favorite thing about the new Thrive?
Yeah, so my favorite thing about the new 3.0 Thrive is that it could possibly really be the only thing that a small business would need to have a great presence online, right? Because it has the website aspect, it has the engagements, it has that lead funnel that I talked about, it has the Thrive Leads program that's even an option, and it also has the drip campaigns, the email campaigns, the text campaigns, all of that into one software, which it also has the estimates and all of that. But so I think that it's a great solution for small businesses, and I think that it does offer pretty much everything that they would need, and it gives them that one solution. And we have the add-ons like the SEO, money back guarantee, and all that. So I think it makes it more simple for them to understand, and it may seem more complex in the beginning, but I've seen the other end, and it's definitely more of a simplistic view of the full digital marketing atmosphere for a business.
What are some opportunities where Thrive can improve for you as a user?
Yeah, so back in the home building business, we had a similar product from another company, and it wasn't called Thrive, but it was a home build. It was specifically made for home building clients. And the biggest downfall with that software was the training. And I'm somebody that's in digital marketing, right? And I'm trying to use this software, and there was times where there were duplicate leads, and I would get confused, and so I imagine that our small businesses are very similar in the way that they see this software, and I think that they do need more training. So I think there's an opportunity there to maybe even have, how we have the marketing experts in each sales area. I think maybe even having, 2 Thrive experts that actually set up an appointment with each client that gets Thrive. And I know the BAs are supposed to be setting up the software, but let's face it, they're probably doing that, whatever's the easiest way to get them to that percentage that they need. And they're probably not sharing the full in-depth review of Thrive. And so I think it would be super valuable for somebody to actually be there on site with the client, with the receptionist, whatever, and actually on site saying, here's your appointment book right here, we could put this virtually in Thrive, and I can help you with that migration, And maybe this is an extra add-on. Maybe we charge more for that, one-on-one training. But I think virtually over WebEx, us walking the client through things, I think some of it gets lost in translation. And so having someone on site would be a lot more beneficial to the business, or at least to some.
What are some words that you would give to new members joining the floor as performance strategists?
Okay, so some advice that I could give to new members joining the floor is to, and I know this is going to sound kind of counter-proactive, but just don't take yourself too seriously. Don't get too sensitive. Based off of what happens with your clients, don't take it personally, because this is business. And one of my greatest mentors told me to take feelings out of business because they don't belong there. So don't take things to heart. Try to do everything as fast as you can with as high quality as you can and precision, because that's how you'll succeed in the corporate environment. Don't be low on the totem pole. At least try to stay in the middle or above on your KPIs, and don't procrastinate. I'm not a big fan of procrastination. I think that the sooner you can get it done, then you can take a big, deep breath and relax and use your resources. You have tons of people that are ready to help. Specifically, I'm ready to help. I mean, I've been in this business for almost 8 years now. I've been in a position similar to this before. I have a lot of experience with dealing with this type of workload, and I have great, organizational skills as well as optimization. And I know SEO. I know all the different types of products. I've managed them before. So, using your resources, I think, is something that people don't do enough here. So, if you're new to the floor, I would definitely latch on to one of those seniors or somebody else that's a rock star on the floor and just copy everything they're doing.
One question actually coming from the person we interviewed before, and her question for you is, how do you combat clients who think you are a spam caller?
Yes, okay. So the way that I normally combat that is I try to talk about, how they're already invested in the program and how I'm just trying to make sure that the types of calls that they're getting are good calls. And I'll actually try to have a couple of sentences that are strategy-wise lined up. And sometimes even I'll try to listen to their calls and see if I can pinpoint some big customer that they have, and I'll mention them. I'll say, well, I heard a lead recently from so and so about tree removal, and I really need to talk to your business owners so that we can make sure that everything's lining up. It's just kind of throwing little nuggets in information that not every spam person would know. So that's the way I've tried to combat it.
I will ask the same question that I asked Ariel. I will ask you, if there's one question you could ask to the next person who does this interview, what would it be?
Do you think how a PS is measured is fair? Speaking of KPIs, cancellation.
All right, I want to ask that. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
for being part of the show.
Yeah, thank you so much, Matthew. I enjoyed it.
Yes.